What if the world you thought you knew wasn't real? Behind the images of Kremlin towers and Red Square parades lies a reality few dare to show. This isn't the Russia you see on postcards or travel vlogs. What's it really like to live in the shadows of power in a country where silence speaks louder than words? To the outside world, Russia often appears as a land of power and pride, a country with magnificent cathedrals, grand military parades, and an imposing presence on the global stage. But beneath the surface lies a very different story. A story written in silence, in hardship, and in the cracks of its fading concrete walls. Millions of Russians live in aging Soviet-era buildings known as Khrushchevkas. Cramped, poorly insulated, and barely maintained. Some were meant to last only 25 years, but they're still in use more than half a century later. Heating systems fail, water pipes burst, residents in remote regions rely on wood stoves to survive the sub-zero temperatures, and when the government repairs don't come, they cope in silence. Life is particularly hard for the elderly. Many survive on meager pensions that barely cover essentials. After working for decades, they're left with little security. Their loyalty to the state is repaid with indifference. Entire towns, once bustling with workers, are now abandoned. These so-called ghost towns are scattered across Russia's vast expanse. When the factories closed after the fall of the Soviet Union, the jobs disappeared, and so did the future. The young flee to Moscow or St. Petersburg, hoping to find work or opportunity. But not everyone makes it. Many end up in overcrowded hostels, underpaid jobs, and endless bureaucracy. Corruption is a daily reality. To get a job, enroll in a university, or win a court case, bribes are often expected. It's not written, not spoken aloud, but understood. Success doesn't always come from talent, it comes from who you know. Russia's healthcare system, especially outside the cities, is underfunded and understaffed. Doctors are overworked, resources are scarce, and critical treatments are delayed or denied. Many turn to private clinics, if they can afford it. And then there's fear. Fear of speaking freely. Independent media outlets are silenced, journalists vanish, political opponents are jailed, online posts can land you behind bars, or worse. In Russia, surveillance isn't science fiction, it's routine. Phone calls are monitored, online platforms are watched, the walls have ears, and many learn to live without trust, even among friends. Since 2022, economic sanctions have hit hard. Prices soar, imports vanish, and inflation eats away at already thin wallets. For many, even basic goods have become luxuries. Mental health issues are widespread, yet rarely discussed. Depression, anxiety, alcoholism. But stigma runs deep and support is limited. In many areas, there are no therapists at all. And still, in all this there is an enduring strength. The Russian people have survived wars, revolutions, collapse. They adapt, they endure. Some say they've grown used to pain, but it's more than that. It's quiet resilience, a deep, unshakable will to keep going, no matter what. This is not the Russia of glossy tourist ads. It's the real Russia, raw, unseen, and unspoken. A life in the shadows filled with hardship, silence, and the strength to carry on. Education in many parts of Russia is a paradox. Children grow up with pride in their nation's legacy, space exploration, literature, strength. But inside these classrooms, the reality tells a different story. Many schools lack basic infrastructure, unreliable heating, outdated materials, and underpaid teachers. In rural towns, one teacher might be responsible for 5 different subjects. Not by choice, but by necessity. Ambition still burns in many young minds, but, dreams of higher education often crash into walls of corruption, rising tuition costs, and nepotism. In some universities, grades can be bought, and for those who can't afford it, their potential is lost in silence. Then comes the draft. Mandatory military service still exists, and for some it's a rite of passage. But in recent years the stakes have changed. Young men are sent to conflicts they don't understand, for causes they didn't choose. Some never come back, and those who do, return with stories they're afraid to tell. The cost of war, once whispered behind closed doors, now weighs heavily on entire communities. Speaking out in today's Russia is more dangerous than ever. Journalists, YouTubers, even teenagers, punished for words. A meme, a post, a slogan, can become a criminal offense. Voices are fading, dissent is erased, and a new generation is growing up in digital silence, careful of what they say, what they share, who they trust. But not all darkness comes from politics. Sometimes it's the quiet grief of loneliness. In a country where life expectancy for men is still under 70, and alcoholism remains a silent epidemic, emotional pain often goes untreated, unspoken, unnoticed. In many places, vodka becomes medicine. It's a way to forget, a way to escape, a generational wound passed down, sip by sip. Ask the older generation, and they'll tell you, life was never easy here. But what's changed is the feeling of being left behind, forgotten, sacrificed in silence. And yet, in the darkest places the smallest lights shine brightest. Communities share what little they have, artists still create, mothers still hope, youth still dream, the Russian soul endures, poetic, proud, defiant. Not everyone is silent, not everyone has given up, and every whisper, every candle, every act of courage is a spark in the dark. If this truth moved you, don't let it disappear. Share it, talk about it, remember it. Thank you for watching. If you believe stories like this need to be told, please like, share, and subscribe.